Hey guys, this is the next video for chapter 1, the second to last, talking about density. It's a short video about this property. Now, density is a property that is measured, there's a comparison of its mass and volume, and so it's kind of defined as the mass of an object per unit volume. Okay. Like I said, it compares the mass to its volume. It has the formula, density equals mass over volume. So we have D equals M over V right here. D equals M over V. And so you should be able to rearrange this to solve for anything you need to. As it says right here, we've got units of grams per milliliter or gram per centimeter cubed. Both of those are totally valid units for density. And sometimes you'll see this little chart thing, I don't know what you want to call it, pyramid thing for density. I don't like it, but I show it to you anyway. This is, density. So if you're looking for density, it's mass divided by volume. If you're looking for volume, mass divided by density. If you're looking for mass, it's density times volume. Pretty straightforward, but you should be able to solve for these at any point that you need to. And the reason I don't like it is because it really only works for this, for a formula that has 3 variables. If you have the variable to 4 or 5 or whatever, it doesn't work. This little triangle thing doesn't work. So you need to be able to do basic algebra anyway. There it is for density. Learn how to rearrange equations. You just got to divide by both sides if you're looking for something, or multiply. For example, if you're looking for mass, you would multiply both sides by volume, and you get mass. Those cancel out, and you get mass equals density times volume. If you need help with that, let me know. But yeah, so there's rearranging equations. Looking at the density of some substances, as you can see, the lighter something tends to be, or the I guess the more airy, I don't really know how to say it without saying less dense, the lower the density is. So heavy things, silver, lead, gold, iron, those are going to have high densities. Light things like your like cork or air or any of your gases will have really low densities. Now these may not seem very low. 1.96, that looks like carbon dioxide's denser than sugar, but you have to take a look at the units. For most things, it's grams per milliliter. Now for gases, it's grams per liter. So make sure you have that down somewhere, that the density for gases is grams per liter. And there's a reason for that, and we'll get to that in chapter 10. Now, thinking about density, make sure that whenever you do anything with density, that it makes sense. Okay, you want to make sure that your solution makes sense there. And so basically, when you think of something that's super dense, you're going to have a super small object, right, with a super large weight. Let's say 515 pounds for this little dot. Okay, that's going to have a really high density. Okay, so keep that in your mind for high density. Now, if we have something that's really big, okay, my cube, and it's not quite a cube. Don't judge. This thing's a lot harder to use than you think. Okay, there we go. So my cube here may weigh, 0.02 grams. Now that's going to have a really low density. Okay, so this is low density. Make sure that you keep those in mind whenever you're answering problems, and that your answer makes sense. If I say solve for the density of this liquid and you get 700 grams per milliliter, maybe that's not quite the correct answer. You maybe need to go back and make sure you convert it. Again, remember that units for density are grams per milliliter. That's the requirement. If I give you units of pounds per quart, you're going to have to convert that to grams per milliliter, because that's the correct unit for density. Now, all of those densities can be read as an equality and written as a conversion factor. That just a second ago, that 515 pounds per whatever, or any density can be read as an equality. That is that mass in that volume. Here's a substance with a density of 3.8 grams per milliliter. That is 3.8 grams in 1 milliliter. And remember from the last video, anytime we can write inequality, we also have conversion factors, just one over the other. So let's take a look at an example. So a substance has a mass of, 4.15 kilograms and a volume of 312, let's not do that. Let's not do volume. We'll just say it's got a mass of 415 kilograms. This substance has a density of 3.5 grams per milliliter. So how do we solve this? And we want to know what the volume is. What is the volume of this substance? Volume. Now it's important to know that density is attributed to the substance, not quite the sample, right? All samples of iron have a specific density, whether it's 200 tons or 1 ton or a gram. All of it has the same density. It's that many grams for that much volume. Mass doesn't matter. So we're going to start by converting this guy to grams to make sure that we can cancel out grams. Because if I just try to do this, if I just try to put in kilograms and then use my density, those don't cancel. Kilograms and grams, those don't cancel, so can't do that. So what we're going to have to do is convert this to grams first, which if you remember, there's 1,000 grams per kilogram. So once we have the mass, we have 4,150 grams of our substance. Now we can use our conversion factor, this guy right here, right? And so 3.5 grams per 1 milliliter. And so those cancel out, leaving us with milliliters, which is a volume measurement. Let's go ahead and bring up our calculator to do this. So we have 4,150 divided by, where's my divided by sign? There it is, divided by 3.5. And I get 1186. 1186. What's my actual answer? Again, significant figures are important for everything. Here we've got 3 significant figures for my mass, 2 significant figures for my density, so 2 is going to be my limiting factor, my limiting term. So we keep our first 2 significant figures, 8's greater than 5, so we round up, and so we end up getting 1,200 milliliters for my volume. Anyway, I hope that was a good review of density. Density is pretty simple, straightforward subject, but we do have to talk about it. And I'll see you guys next time with a video on the last video for chapter 1, video on problem solving.